Mark, how are you this morning?
I'm wonderful. How are you, Steve?
You're always wonderful.
I'm
wonderful just by being around you.
It's the coffee. That's what it is.
I'm due for another cup, actually, as soon as we get out of here.
I got some fresh going.
This is Salvation Unto Us Has Come. Lutheran Service Book 555. Is this a Luther hymn? No.
It might as well be. It's from Wittenberg.
Yep.
It's not, but it might as well be.
Spiritus.
And
Paul Spiritus.
Both the translation and the setting are from TLH. Good old 1941 hymnal, so...
Yeah.
You know.
Which was a classic hymnal.
That's right. It really was. You know, when you turn to this page, stop me if you've ever felt this way, but someone tells you to turn to 555.
It's a lot of words.
And you look at this and you just go, oh man, why do we got to sing a hymn that's 10 verses long? Can't we just sing, you know, Shine Jesus Shine or something like that instead? And that, you know, that song has its place. I'm picking on that. But what are we talking about this Sunday? Let's take a step back for a second. It's the parable of, and I happen to have it here. The laborers in the vineyard.
Yes.
That's my cue card.
Which is, you know, a parable about pride, what we're due.
Sure.
Yeah. And saying, hey, God, I think it ought to be this way because this is the way that, you know, we do things.
Yeah, I mean, if Sherry Berry and the friends, our friends in the Department of Labor, saw this happening today, they'd probably throw a fit. You know, what do you mean somebody who's been working all day makes the same as someone who only works?
Yeah, boy, it's interesting. Equality.
20 minutes or whatever.
Sure, right. Equality is a big deal these days.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Fair share. You know, but that's not how it works in this parable, and it's. I think Jesus is using it in a double meaning sense.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
So how do you mean? Well, because there is an equality in the gospel. Salvation unto us has come. It's come to all of us, right? By God's free grace and favor.
Right.
But you know, the point of that gospel lesson for this Sunday is the salvation is not based on what we earned, on how long we worked.
On what we do, yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
It's the salvation has come to us. God's going to take care of us. He's already hired us and called us.
Right.
We're good.
Yeah.
But so is that guy, whether you believe it or not.
Yeah, and sometimes that's the hard part about Christianity is that it's sort of inherent. I mean, that's sort of part of our sinful Adam, where we want to feel like, because I go to church every Sunday, I'm really going to go to heaven, you know. But that's not how it is, and that's not how it works. Just because I sing 10 verses of a hymn, we're going to go to heaven, you know. No.
Right. And so, what is that? That's a worldly way of accounting things.
Right.
It's interesting. I just read this the other week in a commentary. Every time Jesus raises Judgment Day as sort of a stick, right, to the people that he's talking to, who's he talking to? He's never talking to kind of the unbelievers or the unwashed masses. He's talking to God's people. He's talking to the religious folks.
The people who go to church every Sunday.
We're the ones who have to be mindful of Judgment Day.
Right.
And we have to, you know, we too often put that off on everyone else. So yeah, when we adopt the world's ways and say, well, no, obviously, you know, God is on my side because I'm working so hard or doing so long.
Yeah.
That's different from the title of his hymn. Salvation unto us has come. It's been given to us by God's free grace and favor. Good works cannot avert our doom. They help and save us never. Actually, that's a poor rhyme that I've always loved.
It's not great, yeah.
I love it, though. It just works.
But you know what? I don't want to be charged with translating 10 verses of
German. Sure. Yeah, who did the translation?
And make it rhyme.
Yeah, doesn't say.
You know, the second, third, and fourth verse, going back to that real quick, is really worth rereading, because that's all about the old Adam and the instructions that apply to us, you know, the people who are at 1225 East Moorhead Street 8 days a week. I think that's important to keep that in mind.
So how do you mean?
Well, so in verse 2 is where it all sort of goes downhill. What God did in his law demand, and none to him could render, caused wrath and woe on every hand for man, the vile offender. It was a false, misleading dream. I love that. The beginning of the third verse, that God, his law, has given that sinners could themselves redeem, and by their works gain heaven. In other words, if you actually think that you're going to go to heaven just because you're a good person, you're wrong. unfortunately.
This is the false gospel of the world.
It is the false gospel, yes. Yeah. And there's so many of those out there. Just turn on the TV and you see them, and call 1-800 whatever, and you'll
sure. Well, and frankly, it's here.
Oh, and by the way,
it's
send
here.
us all your money. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we respond to that because it makes sense to us. We look around and we see, I'm responsible, you're responsible, we are the lords of this world, and there is no faith, which actually, this was Adam's mistake from the beginning. Yeah. I get to do what I want and take responsibility for it and have the benefits to myself. And he forgot about what God said.
Right.
Forgot about God's word.
Yeah.
So God says that we're saved. God says that we're well. We say, well, no, if you follow the rules, if you earn it. And so what Spiritus leads us here through the whole wrestling with this misunderstanding, these false gospels, right? And then into an encounter with Christ and the true gospel through what he did. And he just takes you right through the whole story.
He does. And I think that answers the original question, why is this hymn 10 verses? And I think it's because it needs to be. It's
a whole gospel.
It's not some sort of an obnoxious repeating of the same thing over and over again, like a refrain that just can't get out of your head. I would be curious to see how many individual words there are in this hymn, to actually count them up. But I think it's so important to realize that they're all there for a reason.
And I hear you kind of expressing a difference, a fundamental difference between what Lutheran hymnody has always held dear and what Christian approach to singing is sort of these days, and worship is these days. The idea that if it makes me feel good, if it's an experience that I have with God, right? That's beneficial. That's essentially beneficial, right? That's the main thing I hope to get out of worship, is this sort of encouragement and inspiration, versus what the Lutheran tact, and there's quite a bit to this. It's fairly nuanced. It's been worked out very carefully by theologians for a long time,
right?
But the idea is that actually no. What matters is the truth of God's word, which is the true gospel. And apart from that, you might as well just go to a concert or watch some TV or do something that's really entertaining, because this is not for the sake of entertainment.
Oh gosh, no.
This is proclamation. Right?
If you get warm fuzzies from singing this hymn, something's wrong with you.
Well, and so even the way that we sing things in the church is meant to shape us.
It is.
It's not meant to reflect the shape that we already take.
Yeah.
So we don't go in for a lot of the contemporary melodies and rock and roll and things like this.
Yeah, although I would argue it's not so much the style of the worship as it is the mentality of the way that you do it. I think we've discovered that contemporary worship is it can be a good thing when it's done correctly and a style is good. This is just my little soapbox here for a second.
Good,
But I think when you have...
What makes it good, Mark?
What makes...
the style good.
Oh, that's another discussion for another day.
We ought to do that sometime.
We should,
because I imagine this informs a lot of the way that you lead us in worship.
Right.
And I know, because of what I've read, not as an expert, but just as an amateur and a pastor, I know that this is what informs the Lutheran Church and the way that it leads in the realm of music, which it's done for like 500 years now.
Right.
Like we don't really follow anybody when it comes to music. We got our own deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
How many of these hymns would you say are actually our hymns?
In this hymnal?
Yeah.
Oh gosh. At least.
Yeah,
I would say.
Starting with "A Mighty Fortress Is Our God" and all those things that Luther
How's that one?
contributed. Bach.
I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, who's he?
Yeah, he was a good old Lutheran boy.
All right.
Hey, we're probably going over long here.
Yeah, 10 verses of a hymn and 10 minutes of a video. Why not?
Yeah.
So anyway,
we hope you is enjoy an okay word to say.
It can be.
We hope that you appreciate and come to be moved by God's Spirit.
That you are strengthened.
Yeah, strengthened, fulfilled. As we sing this on Sunday, it really does have a cool melody. I think
it's very
old,
unique.
But it's cool.
It's very unique.
Yeah.
Yes. It's got a little bit of a. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, like a little Lutheran.
That's me majoring in Lutheran dance theology. Okay. Check out the other videos on our YouTube channel of me playing, not dancing, along to this hymn. You can sing along with it and practice. Get ready for Sunday. We'll also make sure to put the text in the video description so you can sing along to it.
Be well.
Have a great week.